Okay. So, you guys, I'm super excited to have Kristen on because if you didn't know, shoot, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was like 23 DTs or LCs
LCs.
and then 15 DTs.
I think so.
Oh my God. Okay, so
I
I
could go back and
can't wait
count.
to hear like what the heck you've been doing. But first, I know a lot of my team, they don't really know who you are.
Okay.
So just introduce yourself, tell us your story, tell us how long you've been at Works, what it's done for you.
Okay. So my name's Kristen Smith. I am 37 and I live in Vermont. And I started with It Works December 2017. Um, I had never heard of It Works before. I wasn't looking for any type of extra work. I went to college. I had a full-time job. I was making okay money. Um, I was following Jenny Tamir on Instagram for probably like a year and a half. And I literally didn't know what she did or I didn't know anything about her, but I just like followed all her posts, saw that she was like working from home and just had this like amazing life. And I didn't know if it was real or not, but I never reached out. And then she reached out to me probably like a year later and was like, hey, you should do this. And I'm like, what do you do? And so we just started talking and I wasn't looking for anything, but I thought, why not? It was a good time for me. My husband and I we were just in the middle of building our house. We had just finished and we were way over budget and in a lot of debt. And I just decided to go for it. So I jumped right in and I still worked full time. And just kind of tried to fit this into my schedule whenever I could. And, it was a slow start. I didn't have huge goals for myself. I thought any extra money is good money. So I wasn't like putting a lot of pressure on myself. I didn't really care how fast or quickly I promoted. And so that was December. So then April 2018, I think I just become Ruby. And a lot of I lost my husband in a car accident in April. So that kind of put everything on hold. It was tough. It's still tough. It's just one of those things you never think it's going to happen to you. And it really puts everything into perspective. So I could have just quit and, said, I don't have time for this and I don't even know how to move forward. But I actually used It Works as a way to heal. It gave me a purpose and it kept me really motivated. I live in the middle of nowhere, so there's not a lot of people around here. It's at my age, most everyone's married with kids. So it kind of made me feel connected to people. And, I've made some of like my best friends through this business. So, yeah, I took a couple months off when that happened and I still struggle every day, but I'm in a better place because of It Works.
So, since in April 2018, you were Ruby, and then walk us through April 2018, now a year and a half
Yeah.
later. What rank are you? What have you been able to accomplish?
So I went to my first conference December or January last year. I was an emerald by then and I was getting paid as an executive. I was making like $80 a month and I had no idea what to expect. And I was really scared about getting on a plane and going somewhere. I have a lot of anxiety and that stuff's scary. So even this is scary. So I went to conference and it was like the best experience of my life. It's hard to even put into words, but if you're brand new and you're not sure what it's all about, just find a way to go because it will change everything for your business. Just 3 packed days of being in a conference with thousands of people that have all the same goals, hopes, dreams that you do. And they love you and they're there for you and they support you. And that energy is just something you can't get from sitting at home and watching it on a live stream. So I went to conference, and when I was at conference, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I was going to be one of those girls that could be up on stage. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't outgoing enough. I had all the doubts that I think we all have. But something just kind of changed and clicked. And I was like, no, I deserve this. I can do this. And I'm going to prove people wrong. So I just really hit the ground running after conference. I started asking more people like to join me. I was always scared to ask distributors or potential distributors to join me because I, wasn't making a ton of money. So, but I just started to kind of break out of my comfort zone, push myself. And so that was January. In March, I think I went diamond. And in April, I went double diamond. So I'm currently a double diamond, and we have the best team, our Vermont team. And yeah, you're always going to have those days where you're second guessing yourself and doubting yourself, or maybe you just don't feel like posting, or you're not having a good day. You're not happy. You're not wanting to be like on social media. That's okay. But you just like pick yourself back up the next day. And that's where I'm at.
Thank you so much for like being vulnerable and all of that. I know it's really hard to talk about when something like that happens, but thank you so much. Okay, so you go to conference, which is in January, February, as paid as an executive, Emerald, but paid as an executive. So I'm assuming you don't really have any team with you or under you. Did anyone go with you?
Yeah, I had two girls on my team, Heather Reed and Shannon Matthew, that came with me. Heather actually went Ruby on the plane on the way down to Florida, which was pretty awesome. So she is still on the team and working really hard. She wants to go diamond really bad, so she's going to get that done. But, we all kind of went into it not knowing what to expect, but it was like really nice that they wanted to come and see what it was all about. And it, if Heather was on right now, she would tell you, like, it just changed everything, her mindset, everything for her business. So it was awesome. And last weekend, I actually went to the Boston training with Jess Benjamin and Tim Perro on my team. And it was incredible too, because it was really small and intimate. There was like 250 tickets sold. So it brought all that same energy, but it was just really personal, which was great.
That's awesome. So before we get into everything that you've been doing the last 3 months to sign all these people, like take it back to right after a conference, you're not making a lot of money. Obviously you have a ton of new distributors on your team right now. I know I have a lot of new distributors. I'm sure everybody does from all the half off codes. So they're probably going to be watching this. Like when you got back from conference and you started working right away, you weren't like making thousands of dollars. So what do you post about? Because a lot of new distributors will come to me and they'll be like, well, I haven't made any money yet. So what do I post about? So can you talk about that for new DGs?
Yeah. So just post about what the potential is, because if you believe in yourself and you're going to get there someday, then everybody can. And so I just started posting about the potential. I started to think about the people that I knew that really could use help, the single moms, the friends that couldn't afford to go to college, that don't have, the salary that they need to support their families, those women that are working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. I just started to really tap into people's why without them even knowing, and just pushing the potential and the opportunity that is there if they wanted it. Because anybody anybody can do this. I'm not special. I don't have any special tricks. I'm a super big introvert. I don't know a lot of people. Anybody can do this if you just follow the systems and the steps that are given to us.
Okay. So tell us how you work your business, basically. Like, you still work, right? Do you work full time?
Yeah, I work full time.
Okay. So guys, she works full time and she's bringing in a full-time income from this.
Yeah.
So it's possible to do both. So tell us like what your day-to-day looks like and how you work the business.
Sure. So you just have to work smart. You don't get sucked into the scrolling through Facebook for an hour and then you're like, what did I even accomplish? You just have to know what you need to do. I'm very organized. I wasn't at first at all, but I've become very organized and I know every day what my 6 list is going to be. So I know what I need to do. It's always posting consistently. It's always putting up stories consistently. It's always following up with my potentials, sending brand new messages, interacting with your friends so that people are seeing your posts. I love post to post. That's my secret sauce. A lot of people have said that, now that it's been out for a while, it's not working as well for people. And it has died down a little bit, but you just kind of have to reinvent it and be creative. And I sign most of my customers from host to post. They're never hardly people I know that are even living in the state that I live in. So I do a lot of host to post. And then one thing that I really wasn't doing a year ago, didn't even really know how to do it and thought it was kind of silly, was self-development. And it's crazy how that can really change things for your business. So every morning when I wake up, I check any messages that weren't read from the night before, and I'm drinking my coffee and I'm tired and I'm like, oh God, I got to get ready for work. But I make time for self-development and I journal and I try to think of things I'm grateful for and I try to set my goal for the day. It can be really daunting to say, oh my God, this month I want to go triple diamond. It's like a huge goal. How do you get there? And I try to break my goals down by week and by day so that every day I'm like, this is what I need to do. This is what I'm hoping to accomplish. So it's not like this giant goal. It's just like really small goals. And if you put them all together, it's going to be a really big goal. So that's kind of how I spend my day. I'm lucky I have a job. I work for a city. I can still be on my Facebook. So I'm lucky. I can kind of multitask, but I am pretty busy. And then I do a lot at night. I come home and I work. And there are nights when I don't feel like doing anything. And if I need to unplug, I unplug. But I just try to stay really consistent, really disciplined, and really organized. Those are like the 3 things. That's it.
Okay, so let's get deeper into actually how you sign these people. Like, yes, host to post, but
yeah,
explain host to post, what you're saying, everything like that.
I think the biggest thing is building relationships. Nobody wants to be sold to. They want to trust you, and they're not going to buy something from you if they don't trust you. So I don't get right down their throats with a sales pitch. I want to get to know people. I want to find out what their problems are, because if you don't know what their problems are, how are you going to give them a solution? And I try to say, like, I'm not here to sell a product. I'm here to sell a solution. So whether that's someone who's really tired and needs more energy, whether that's somebody that has been struggling with their weight, I want to know what that problem is that they want to fix. I want to know what their goals are. Maybe they want more money. You don't know if they're in the market to be a distributor if you don't ask the right questions. So I really just try to get to know people, and I take my time. I sign a lot of customers, but I've been talking to those people for weeks. I think a lot of the new people, it's easy to see people like me signing all these customers and saying, what the heck is she doing? how come I can't do that? And it's so easy to get discouraged, but you literally can't, because I was just like that a year ago. I wasn't signing a ton of customers. And you don't have to sign a lot of customers to be successful. That's the other thing. It's just all about the steps to success. Like every month, do your steps to success, which is get your 4 customers, get your 3 distributors, teach those distributors to do the same. That's it. You can literally just sign 4 customers and 3 distributors in a month and be just as successful, make just as much money, and promote just as fast if you're teaching all your new distributors to do the same. So, I mean, you really just need to be consistent with it. But oh, I unmuted myself. What's the last thing I said? I can't hear you, Taylor.
Okay. The last thing you said was you need to be consistent with it. It was like the last 10 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. So that and like the last thing I said was you just have to really build relationships. And because when people start to trust you, they're going to trust what you have to say, and they're going to trust what you have to offer. They're going to buy into you before they buy into a product. And if it's something that you believe in and they believe you, that's all you need to do. And being a product of the product, so important. And it's not something I always I take a lot of the products myself. But after Mike died, I was in the best shape of my life. And then I just stopped going to the gym, and I stopped moving, and I stopped eating healthy, and it was awful, but I was just an emotional eater, and it's just what I needed at the time. So I've started to get back on track, and been very consistent with the products that I take and love, and posting my personal before and afters. That's helped so much. Last month, I'd say like 40% of the customers I signed were because they saw my results. And so they trusted me, and they believed me, and they believed my advice that I was giving them.
On average, because you say you don't sign most of those people the first time, so on average, how many times are you following up with these people? And then what are you saying? Like after that initial conversation, I'm sure, you talk about their problem and you talk about a solution, and then they're usually like, okay, I'll think about it, or
Yeah.
okay, next paycheck. Like, so what do you say to follow up, and how many times does that?
And that's usually sometimes the point at which people are like, okay, and they don't follow back up, and you have to. That was really hard for me at first, because I felt like I was bugging people, and I didn't really know how to like follow up, and however they ended the conversation, I was like, okay. And I like didn't know what to say. Unless someone tells me no, I'm not going to stop reaching back out to them. People are so busy, and a lot of people are like, thank you so much for staying on top of me. Like people are forgetful, people are busy, people are not good at managing their time. So I keep a calendar, an Outlook calendar, and I set reminders every day. So like every single day I've got something on my calendar to follow up with somebody. So if somebody says, well, I can't make an order until I get paid on the 1st, you better believe I'm putting them on my calendar for the 1st. Because you don't want to miss, you get to talking to like 50, 100 people, and you're going to miss people. You'll never remember if you're just trying to do it in your head. And that's how I did it at first. And so now I have to put everything on a calendar. But I probably don't sign people until the 5th follow-up on average. And that probably sounds like a lot, but that's what you have to do. You just have to keep planting those seeds and keep like building relationships. And by the 5th or 6th time, maybe they're ready, and it's the right time for them. So unless they say no, they're always my potential.
So then are you just saying something like hey, did you still want to lose weight? Or like, what do you say?
Yeah, so I keep it really simple. If the last conversation was I'll think about it. I'll give them like 2 or 3 days. Like, hey, how's it going today? Were you able to get on my site? Okay. Is there any questions I can help answer for you? Have you given it any more thought? Sometimes I'll even share like a before and after picture at that point if I never did in the initial conversation. Because sometimes the people are just really skeptical. Maybe it's not even the money, that it's not about the money, but they're skeptical. So I'll be like, oh, by the way, like, I'm so excited about my results. Check these out. This is me, for the month of October, 3-week results with 2 products. Like, or I share Gabe's results a lot because she's had a lot of success with the coffee. Tim Perro he's lost so much weight. He looks amazing. And I share his results when I'm talking to men. So sometimes just sharing those results helps on the second conversation. But I just keep it really casual, like not pushy, just, hey, how's it going, how are you, do you have questions, is there anything I can help answer for you? And I just kind of like follow their lead after that.
Are you doing mostly weight loss hosted posts, or do you switch it up?
um there's one that I think I shared on the team page, and I don't even know where I found it, but it's been fire for me. It's like the testers needed, and it's like, if you could take 2 tablets and lose 30 pounds in 90 days, would you do it? And that's all it says. So, and it can be very open. It doesn't have to be product specific. I'll use that one. Yeah, it's kind of geared toward Thermophyte. But then when I start talking to people, I always try to upsell. Like, it's not the number of LCs, it's the volume that you want. So who cares if you sign 50 LCs? If you're signing 5 LCs and you got 100 BV order, it's way better. So I'm always trying to upsell. So I'll start with like the Thermophyte, but then I'll be like, well, do you drink coffee? And who doesn't? And I'm like, well, you should try our fat burning coffee. It's so good. And I start talking about that. And I'm like, I've literally just did my celery juice, my coffee, and my Thermophyte, and I've down 13 pounds in October. So I'll just, I just try to like find out what they like and try to like pair a couple products, because you want it to work for them. And sometimes they need more than one product for it to really work for them.
So are you just working on Facebook then? Just doing host to post on Facebook?
Yeah, I do a lot of stories on Instagram. So I always post my stories on Instagram and then share them to Facebook. I honestly have never host to posted on Instagram, but there were some leaders talking about that in Boston last weekend. And so that's something I need to kind of tap into. Because there are some people that are only successful on Instagram, which I guess I just haven't pushed it as much. I do post on Instagram, but I don't message as much as I probably should there. So primarily I'm building my business on Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, if it's working, like,
Yeah, but I feel like there's probably an untapped market I need to like get into. I mean, I think I try to grow my Instagram by like searching through hashtags. So I do try to do that, but yeah, I do need to tap into Instagram more.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So most of your LCs you're signing through host to posts. What about distributors? Are you getting those from posts? Are you also doing host to posts for those people?
Yep. Yeah. So last month, someone, I forget, on a Zoom said that they spend their first 15 days in the month just pushing for distributors, and they spend their last 15 days trying to get the volume. And I tried to do that, and it actually was kind of cool how it worked. So I did just like DT host to post. I don't have the wording in front of me, but it's like, my friend needs help. She's slammed. She needs help with her online business. Does anyone want to work posting on social media and make $500+ a month? That was so crazy. That host to post just blew up for me. It still works for me. So I did use that host to post a lot. And then, I keep lists. So I always have my potential lists for DTs and LCs. I have them on my phone and my notes. I also have them written down in my notebook. And it could be somebody I talked to a year ago. But if we've ever talked about it, I'm writing their name down, because you never know when it's going to be the right time for them. People could have lost their job, and they might, you never know. You never know. It's not always the right timing for people. So I'm continually following up with potentials. Even if I haven't talked to them for a few months, I'll just always check in. So between that, messaging people that I think would be good at this, and then just a lot of host of posts for potential distributors is kind of how I did it. The other thing I did last month, I converted a lot of my LCs into distributors. I mean, that's kind of the easiest way, because these are people that already know what It Works is. They already are taking the products. They already are liking the products, having success with them. So of course they're going to want to continue using the products, but if they can also make some money, why wouldn't they? So I tapped into that a lot, and I converted a lot of my existing LCs that I knew that were really loving it into distributors.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were like, oh, I didn't even know this was something I could do. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, that really helped a lot too last month.
Yeah. You guys, when you are following up with your customers, like, we should be following up with our customers all the time so that we can do this. If she wasn't following up with her customers, making sure that the products were working, and then she went and asked them if they wanted to make money, they'd be like, no, you haven't even helped me. So we have to be following up with our customers. And then, like, when that third auto ship runs right after or right before, you want to say something like, just bring it up and say, hey, it's your third auto ship. I always say, like, my message is something like, if you want to do another 90-day challenge with me, I'll throw in an extra, it's 50 perk points, right? I'll throw in a $50 shopping spree for you, because when they do 6 consecutive months of auto ship, they get an automatic 50 perk points on top of their 10% that they're getting back every month.
I didn't even know that.
Mm-hmm. So I always say, like, right when their third one is about to ship, I say something like, hey, your third one's about to ship, blah, blah, blah. I know you've been loving your products. Do you want to, I don't know exactly the words, but it's something like, if you want to do another 90-day challenge for me, I'll throw in a $50 shopping spree. We can keep the same auto ship, or if you want to switch it up, we can switch it up. What do you think? And I don't know why I haven't done this, but I'm going to add in that message, or since you've been loving the products, have you ever thought about making money? You guys, those, I don't want to say those are the best DTs, but they already believe in the products. Yeah. They've already been taking them. They probably already have results to share. So like, that's amazing. Brittany said, does that spree come at the end of the second 90-day challenge? Yeah. So when they, every single thing that they order, they get 10% back in perk points. And then on their 6th consecutive auto ship, they get an additional $50 in perk points. 1 perk point equals $1. And then if they run an auto ship for 12 consecutive months, I'm pretty sure it's like $120 in perk points that they get. You guys, at one point, my mother had 200 and something perk points in her account. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, Mom, what are you gonna do with all this? She's like, oh, I'm gonna buy greens for everybody. Everybody needs greens. I'm like, yes, okay. But yeah, so tell people, and that's not something, you guys, that's not something that you want to tell people before they sign right off the bat, because it's just a lot of information, and they're like, I don't even know if I want the product, girl, can you slow down? So I don't tell anybody that until after they joined. And then, so when they join, like, I'll say, okay, great, your order is complete. Like, you're going to get an email saying it's shipped. It'll be there in 1 to 2 weeks, yada, yada. 2 days later, I just message them again, and I just thank them. And I'm like, thank you so much for supporting me. Like, you have no idea how much this means. And I'm really excited to help you. I just wanted to let you know. And I only tell them about the 10% back. I don't tell them about the ongoing one yet, because some people already in their mind, they're like, I'm already committing to 90 days. Like, Jesus, girl, what do you want from me? You know? So I just tell them they get 10% back on everything in the beginning. And then on that third month is when I say, if you want to do it again, go to that 50. Keisha says she thinks it's 150 per point after the 12 months, which is even better. That's so crazy. Like, our customers are so taken care of, but us doing those thank you notes and checking up with them regularly, like that just goes above and beyond. And those are the people who are more likely to continue ordering, number one, and then become distributors.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to follow up. You should want to follow up because you want to, you have that relationship with them. So you want to check in and see how things are going and how they're progressing, or maybe they need some tweaks to their orders, but they're, think about yourself in a situation where you've had really great customer service. You're more apt to go back. You're more apt to keep buying, and it's less work for us. We don't have to go find a million new customers if we are retaining the ones that we have every single month. So that is really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys, like, I've been in seasons, I guess, of my business where I'm just like focused on signing, and like these people, they're already in my e-suite. So like, I don't need to deal with them. I just need to get more. You guys cannot do that. You have to remember about the people that are in your e-suite.
Mm-hmm.
Just like she said, I mean, if all those people, if she doesn't follow up with the 23 LCs and they all cancel in their 3 months, in 2 months from now, her volume is going to drop a ton, and that's going to suck. She's going to have to resign all of those people. But if she can follow up with them, even though sometimes it just seems tedious and it's like, oh my gosh, this isn't bringing me immediate money. It is. It's very important. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What was my other question for you?
You can also, in eSuite, you can run like a perk point report. So you can see everybody that you have in your eSuite that has perk points. It'll say how much they have, when they're going to expire. So that's a good way to like check in with people and say, oh, hey, I don't know if you remember this or if you're aware, but you have 100 perk points and they're going to expire this day. Or do you need anything? Do you want me to order something for you with them?
Yeah.
You're going to get the BV if they order above and beyond their perk points. And a lot of times that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's something that I do at like the end of the month, usually on like the 20th or 25th, I'll go through that. And then I'll just message everybody. And then if they're about to expire, I'm like on them, like, we need to get these used.
Yeah.
And then if you are trying to promote, you go through all of them and you try your darndest to get all of them to order. And yeah, like she said, you always, if you have 30 perk points, you want them to get more than just the greens, because if they just get greens, then that 30 perk points is that 30 BV it matches, and you're not getting any BV for it. So you want them to get at least 2 products so that you're getting some extra BV.
Yeah. Carb control and fat faders.
Yeah. I have a question. So when you're doing host to posts, are you having people tag you or not?
I am. I know there was like a Zoom at one point where people were saying it was working better if people weren't tagging you. And I did try that for a while and it just really didn't change for me. And then I kind of ended up missing a couple that way, because if they like read my post and then just went on and posted but didn't tell me they did it, I didn't like go in and turn on the notifications. So I do have them tag me. I don't really see why that doesn't work. And sometimes I'm having them post a message. Sometimes I'm having them post a picture for me. Like I've got a picture of like really delicious looking fat burning coffee. And it just says like a little caption, like, if you could drink this coffee and lose weight, would you? And then I'll just have them post a picture and then they'll just tag me in the picture. So I try to change it up a little bit with pictures and just words, or I'll say, can you throw this on a colored background? Like that helps too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm trying to think of other questions I have. You guys, if you have more questions, put it in the chat. Let's talk about the self-development, because you said in the beginning that was not something that you were doing. So what do you do for self-development? I mean, you said you wake up in the morning and that's the first thing you do. So just talk about like what you're doing and how it's helped you.
Yeah, I used to just wake up and always be in a rush, and I'd have the TV on, and now I wake up, I try to like make extra time for myself where I don't have to be like, oh God, I gotta get ready for work. And don't turn the TV on, and I just sit there with my coffee, and it's different, depending on how I feel. Like maybe it's just reading something inspiring, some Bible verses, or just some inspiring like affirmations like that I find on Pinterest. Or maybe I feel like writing and I'm writing things down. I got the Rachel Hollis journal I love that. And I've been trying to do that every day. So that just keeps me grounded. It keeps me focused. Like life can get so busy and I can get overwhelmed really easy. And like I said, I struggle with anxiety. I struggle with depression. Even before I lost my husband, these were things I struggled with, and self-doubt. And I think a lot of people can look on the outside and think, oh, she's got it all together. But we don't, especially, women these days. We're working, we're taking care of our families, and we forget to take care of ourselves. So it's so important to do that. So I'm not afraid to say no. If I wake up and I just can't do something that day, I don't push myself. I try not to pressure myself, but I try to keep myself like focused on what I need to do. And I write everything down. So for me, it's like I write down exactly what I want to get done. I wake up in the morning, I write down why I'm grateful. What am I grateful for? What do I want to accomplish today? And I just do it and I make time. And sometimes it's really busy when you're working full time, but you can be just as successful by putting 20 minutes into the job, into your work, as 2 hours. So you just have to use your time really wisely, and it will just really kind of help your stress level. Yeah, and I lean on my team a lot. I mean, that's what we're all here for. So we're all in this together. So I lean on my team a lot. And like I said, going to conference and going to things like that are the best thing you could do for your business, because you're going to meet so many amazing people. Like I saw Taylor, I met her in Florida, was it a couple months ago now? And that was like the best weekend ever at Green Carpet. I mean, it was just like 18 of us in a house and we just had the best time. And like, I want to go back.
I know, me too. Oh, I can't wait for conference though. It's going to be a blast.
Yes.
You guys, a morning routine is really important. And I've realized this in the last a month and a half, because I was just like waking up, not doing anything, and then trying to work my business. And I was just so uninspired. So like, well, I was in my first trimester too, so I was really freaking tired, but like I didn't want to do anything. And every single self-development thing, anybody, if you listen to anybody who's making $1 million, any type of millionaire, they're going to have a morning routine. And I realized if you want to make more money than you're making now, you need to change something that you're doing. You need to change something in you. It's not just like you working hard. Yeah, it's you working harder, but you need to change as a person. And that comes through self-development. And so I'll just share what I do. I wake up, and if I don't do this now, because I've been doing it for about a month consistently, like there are days still where I like, oh, I don't feel like doing it, or, I just skip as something, I don't know. And I just like don't feel good. Like I don't feel like, I don't know, my mind isn't clear. Like I'm not in as good of a mood. And so what I'm doing is I wake up and I do this little daily devotional, and it's short. It doesn't take much time at all. And I pray. And then I have the Rachel Hollis journal too. And so I write down things that I'm grateful for. And then I write down my goals that I have for myself, like my big dreams. If you guys don't have a dream board, do you have a dream board, Kristen?
Yes, I actually did it when I got back from Green Carpet. Like I always had it in my head, but it makes such a difference when you visually see it. Another thing I recently did is I made an office space for myself. Um, sometimes you can get sucked into that TV show. And so I made a space. So I have a desk and I have my dream board, and I make sure I sit at that desk for like 45 minutes every day, whether it's when I get home or whether it's in the morning. But it's really important to like have a space for work. That helps for me anyways. But yeah, visually seeing your dream board is just so important.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I have any other questions. I'm trying to think. I feel like I have something else I want to ask you, but it's not coming to my head. But thank you so much, so much for taking the time out of your day and doing this. And we are cheering you on for triple. I'm so excited because I know it's coming soon for you.
Oh, I hope so. But I mean, I just want everyone to know, like, whether you're brand new or you've been in it for a while, if anyone ever needs anything, message me. We're all in this together. We're all one big team. So we can do this.
Yes. All right, guys, go have a good Sunday. Don't forget about the family call tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. These time zones kill me.
Yeah.
So have a good day, you guys. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.